Good morning and welcome to Sunshine. My name is Joel Hammernick. I'm the Executive Director at Sunshine Enterprises. If you look around, you'll be forgiven if you're a little confused. There are two Sunshines here. Several years ago, Sunshine Enterprises was birthed out of Sunshine Gospel Ministries. As residents of this community, as stakeholders in this community, we have wrestled for a long time with what we see as the correlation between the absence of work opportunity on the one hand and the presence of violence on the other. As we began thinking about what are the practical, tangible strategies that we could employ to see work opportunity return to communities like ours on the south and west side, what we quickly realized is that our neighborhood is actually full of entrepreneurially minded people who are solving problems and doing creative and energetic things, but they're usually doing it in their home. They're often doing it in a way that is below the radar from the way in which the world can see and value and support those folks. And so over the past 7 years, we now have graduated more than 1,000 people through our Community Business Academy. And we're operating at a scale where 250 to 300 new people will come through that program every year rolling forward. And so the question that comes before us, thank you. The question that comes before us is, now that we have this alumnus that have these businesses and they're in business making sales, how is it that we can support them to move out of the shadow economy, out of the informal economy, and to grow their business? And you realize that you have to cultivate business acumen and opportunity, but in neighborhoods like ours where the median household income is just $24,000, you realize that the presence of functional forms of capital that are relevant and right for those folks is lacking. And often at that inflection point where someone is taking on the courage and the risk to lean into their business and to begin to grow it, often traditional forms of debt capital are exactly the wrong thing for those entrepreneurs. So we are extremely excited to be able to announce the project that we have here in partnership with Greenwood Archer Capital and PNC Bank to lean into our ability to support these kinds of entrepreneurs moving forward for the sake of our community and for the sake of our city. And so with that, I'm excited to introduce the president of PNC Illinois, Scott Swanson.
Well, thank you, Joel. Great to be with everyone here today. I do want to thank Joel and Sunshine Enterprises. I want to thank Erica King from Greenwood Archer Capital. Just wonderful to have the partnership that we're all launching together. I want to thank Treasurer Conyers Irvin for being here today and all of your work on ensuring that we're driving equitable opportunity in all of our communities. And importantly, Mayor Lightfoot, you are such a champion, your leadership for ensuring that we are investing in all of our neighborhoods, ensuring that the only way that we're successful is that all neighborhoods in Chicago are successful, and this is certainly an important part of that. So today is the day that we get to announce a $1.5 million grant to launch what we're calling the Community Micro Equity Fund. This is a part of PNC's almost $45 million in commitments this year around areas of financial literacy, community development, and education. And this fund is the first of its kind for PNC, which will have a direct impact on the south and west sides. And as Joel has highlighted, they've been unfortunately very under-resourced. So this initiative will provide that much-needed capital to empower Black and diverse entrepreneurs and small business owners to build scale. Historically, we have identified opportunities to make specific grants, but this really is the most comprehensive approach that we've ever taken to truly ensure sustainability and success. And as a part of that, qualified participants who will have access to this capital will complete either a part of a formal vetting process or actually an intensive 12-week basic training program that will help around areas of management programming focused on credit and marketing, bookkeeping, cash flow, legal, and other business-related opportunities to ensure that they are great stewards of the opportunity with this capital and, again, drive that long-term success. It'll also provide early-stage business owners with a support system, an ongoing support system, which is critical for any business owner, which will include mentorship, advisory services, and access to other regional resources to help ensure that long-term viability. All of this is to drive that pathway to success and generational wealth. That generational wealth is what we need to sustain and ensure the success of all of our neighborhoods. So it's important to us, we know it's important to the city, and it's important to our neighborhoods and businesses like the ones that we see here at 61st Street here in Woodlawn. So our goal is initially to connect more than 200 qualified business owners with up to $25,000 in what we'll characterize as kind of friend and family type capital, that patient capital needed to build businesses, to expand businesses. And that micro investment has the potential, we've identified, to impact some 700 jobs over the next 3 years and payroll impact of some $19.4 million. For all of this to succeed, though, it takes collaboration. So we're all gathered here today to recognize that with our community partners, from local government officials to the business community and certainly important organizations they're here to make it happen. It is that collaboration that will ensure success. And we have to hold all of ourselves accountable to ensure that it truly is sustainable. So we do recognize this is truly just the foundation of what we think will be the necessary comprehensive approach for success. And we do, I think, from that, we'll set an expectation on bringing others in to ensure we attract the capital and the investment and then enjoy the consequences that we know will be realized. So now we're going to get started. So I'm going to ask Erica King from Greenwood Archer Capital, who will explain more about our program. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Erica King, president of Greenwood Archer Capital, a not-for-profit CDFI working since 2012 to provide microloans and small business loans to Black and other diverse businesses. Greenwood Archer Capital has deployed over $18 million in loans and grants to neighborhood businesses, mainly on Chicago's South and West Sides. This past July, our organization rebranded by changing our name and mission while paying homage to Tulsa, Oklahoma's district, once known as Black Wall Street. With our new identity, Greenwood Archer Capital deepened its commitment to Black entrepreneurs and committed to continue to innovate and create financial solutions that work to level the playing field and create generational wealth for Black and underserved businesses. We know individual wealth is closely tied to the ability of business owners to access capital. Greenwood Archer Capital knows that entrepreneurship is a path for creating generational wealth. However, without access to all forms of capital, this path may not be realized for certain Black and other underserved entrepreneurs. We believe that equity means continued steps towards equality by giving disadvantaged people different treatment to make their opportunities the same as others. With PNC support, Greenwood Archer Capital and Sunshine Enterprises is committed to fund social and financial equity through the Community Micro Equity Fund. The Community Micro Equity Fund will provide new and emerging small businesses with patient investments up to $25,000, as well as support services, as Scott mentioned, necessary to help them start, innovate, and scale. As we all know, the first few years in business can oftentimes be the most difficult period as business owners are working to introduce its minimum viable product, build sustainable operations, and test new markets, all while trying to repay debt. The Community Micro Equity Fund will ease the financial burden that many businesses have during this period by not requiring any repayment during the first 2 years of the initial investment period. At year 3, the businesses will begin to repay 20% of the investment at face value until paid off or converted to traditional debt. For many businesses, the fund will act as that family and friends money that Scott mentioned again, that never had access to or never had. And we're gonna be those family and friends that actually get invited to that barbecue. With this initial $1.5 million provided by PNC Foundation, the Community Micro Equity Fund will impact 700 jobs over a 3-year investment period. And we heard about the payroll impact, which is huge. And keep in mind, that's just the initial $1.5 million. These same investments will help businesses purchase income-generating assets, hire additional staff necessary to increase its earning potential, procure new contracts, purchase inventory and supplies to take advantage of economies of scale, increase its marketing to attract new clients, activate NOF grants, and make improvements to Chicago's South and West Side commercial corridors. And these dollars would also aid in circulating additional dollars in communities that need it most. But I don't want you to just take my word for it. I would love for you to hear from two businesses on what this type of investment means for them. Please help me welcome Melvin Henley, proud owner of Pack Leaders.
Good morning. My name is Melvin Henley. I am the principal of Pack Leaders, and we are an MBE, DBE, Section 3 certified union carpenter, general contractor, and we self-perform carpentry. Myself being a union carpenter for over 20 years, I started the business 4 years ago. I'm a progressive thinker, so I try not to think about where we would be at if we had the community fund that we are talking about today. I think about where we can go because we have it now. Greenwood Archer Capital and the partners here have been have helped us in our growth and our scaling. This fund is so, I'm very excited about this fund. This fund is so imperative to small businesses because the barriers to entry are real. And we have experienced those from a standpoint where equity, capital, access to capital, bonding, all of these things, technical assistance, all these things are part of the things that we need in order to scale. I like to say that scale stands for systems created as levels elevate, and that's one thing that they have allowed us to do, and I'm very, very excited and looking forward to progressing with the fund. Thank you.
We have a whole bunch more businesses to really speak on the importance of this fund, but right now I will invite Tiffany Williams, who is the owner of Exquisite 501 and Exquisite Events and Catering. Please welcome Tiffany.
Thank you, Erica. My name is Tiffany Williams. I'm the owner of Exquisite Catering and Events and Exquisite 501, which is right here on the corner, 61st and Eberhard. We're a full-service catering company specializing in international cuisine. I started the catering company. I'm right here from Woodlawn. I say I worked in all these amazing places and with these amazing officials and some celebrities you may know, Beyonce and Jay-Z, if you know them. And I said, why, right, if you know them, why, and Mayor Lightfoot, of course. And I said, why don't we have nicer things on the South Side? Why don't we have these nicer servers on the South Side? Why can't we have these things? So that was the premises of starting my catering company. We're now 4 years old as a company, and Exquisite 501 opened just this January during the pandemic, where we were blessed to feed about 30,000 individuals to keep meals going for first responders and communities and families. We've worked with Sunshine Gospel Ministries and Sunshine Enterprises, and we actually went through the program. And I tell everybody to go through the program because as a small business starting out, it gives you all the foundation you need to get your business growing and scaling. This opportunity for equity through their program is so viable because it brings on the things that we sat down and asked for actually at a roundtable with Ms. Lightfoot: accounting, legal services, technical services, the things that businesses really, really need to grow and scale. We have the opportunities to grow, but we don't have the finances to do so. And it's really, really hard to get started. I'm a single mom of 3, and I love what I do. I love bringing people on board. Exquisite 501 is a shared kitchen, a licensed shared kitchen. So we're gonna host pop-up chefs. We actually feature a couple of chefs. One of our chefs is here for next month. She's here now. So come by so you can support their businesses because we're creating other business through our business and allowing a food space for foodies and chefs that find it hard to find shared kitchens to grow. So thank you for this. Thank you for continuing to feed the South and West Sides. I appreciate that.
You know, small businesses understand what it means to go all in, to take a leap of faith. And when our city treasurer joined our savings and our 401k to buy our first home, she took a breath. I think she took a deep one. But she took that leap without fear and has continued on since. Serving as a state rep, an insurance executive, and now as our city treasurer, She has found a way, incredibly, to utilize her private sector policymaking and financial experience to drive economic equity and development throughout our city. Under her leadership, the Advancing Equity in Banking Commission was formed, and it was formed to eliminate systemic racism in banking and to drive equitable hiring, lending, and investing. Through her Money Mondays, and it's a terrific program, she live streams conversations about the facts surrounding and the pathways to financial security. The treasurer also developed a year-long program called Hope Inside to help people increase their credit scores and to find and make better financial decisions. She manages the capital of our city while attending to the everyday needs of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, our city treasurer.
I need to take Tony on the road with me. That was such a beautiful introduction. Certainly, Tony and Scott and I are on calls all the time, so I feel like we're very close friends with PNC Bank, so this is really great to be here on this morning. I'll tell you all, I was excited when I was reading about coming here today and the initiative, but now that I'm here and I was listening to the small business owners and listening to the description of this initiative, I am super excited about this initiative. Super. Wow. I am Melissa Conyers-Irv, and I always say I'm so humbled yet proud to be the city treasurer of this great city. I'll tell you, I am so happy and humbled that we have our mayor of this great city, Lori Lightfoot, here with us on this morning. And we certainly do not take it lightly that the mayor of this great city is in Woodlawn on today. And when I think about this initiative, certainly between PNC Bank, Greenwood Archer Capital, as well as Sunrise Enterprises, is so important for communities of color because it gives these communities hope. And in so many instances, we've seen the loss of hope. So this is a very important initiative, and we certainly appreciate the entrepreneurs in our communities, those that need this funding of this venture that would provide growth to their businesses. And it really does remind me, I was thinking as I was listening to Ms. King talk about the description of the program, I actually thought about our Small Business Resiliency Fund that Mayor Lightfoot and I were able to partner on and provide over 700 loans to small businesses during the height of the pandemic. And obviously, Greenwood Archer was, did I say it right? I did, because I'm so used to the former name. But Greenwood Archer was a part of that initiative as well, so it doesn't surprise me that it's very similar parameters. And I'm also not surprised when I think about Scott Swanson. I told you all we spent a lot of time talking because of our Advancing Equity and Banking Commission that I am doing with State Treasurer Ferrix. And I certainly know that Scott Swanson come from humble beginnings, and so I can appreciate what he continues to do for diversity, for equity within the city of Chicago. Now, I want to say this also as I conclude, because we were supposed to keep it to a few minutes. Just on yesterday, I had an opportunity to speak to a room of about 98.7% non-minorities. I use 98.7% a lot because in the financial services industry of about $69 trillion, 98.7% are owners of non-minorities. I want to make certain everyone said that, got that, because I think that I want to make certain I'm clear. 98.7% of owners within the financial service industry of $69 trillion are non-minorities. And yesterday in that meeting, I told them that we all have a part to play. And I think this is an example of us having a part to play. Very impressed by this logo. Look at these hands. And it really reminds me, and I thought about this as I was sitting down, it made me think of a song, Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand, make this world a better place if you can. And certainly we thank you for what you are doing.
Thank you, Treasurer Irvin, Conyers-Irvin. You know, there's an old adage, teach one to fish and you'll never be hungry. But we probably should have said, help them buy a boat, hire a crew, and create a business. And create a legacy of wealth that can be transferred to the next generation and end generational inequity. We have that opportunity. And when we do that, we enable entrepreneurs like Tiffany and Melvin to transform corridors on our south and west sides, to create places where people want to live, work, invest, and play, to change how those neighborhoods are perceived. Because in changing that perception, we're able to drive appreciation, which creates the wealth that we so need in our communities south and west. This is how we drive sustainable wealth creation and equity in our city. And this is at the core of the mayor's strategy, Invest Southwest. We're talking about transformation, we're talking about wealth creation, we're talking about equity. The Community Microequity Program is poised to complement the Invest Southwest strategy, and obviously I like that program a lot, and advancing equity throughout our city. But programs like this cannot exist in isolation, but rather spring from thoughtful policy, courageous leadership, collaboration, all of which are fundamentals of a democracy and characteristics of our mayor. A mayor that understands equity knows that it starts at the top, has to be intentional, and should be available to everyone. And our mayor gets it. Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of the city of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot.
Well, I'm like Melissa. When you have that kind of introduction, I want to carry him around with me the rest of the day and the rest of the week. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Tony, for that very generous introduction. It's a real pleasure to be here. I want to recognize the other folks who are with us here today. You've heard from Tony. You've heard from Scott Swanson, the president of PNC. And Scott, thank you so much. There are a lot of folks who talked a lot last year and made pledges about how they were going to stand up and support communities. But a lot of those folks that had the words and the mission statements haven't delivered. PNC has. And so I want to thank you for your generosity. Let me also thank Erica King. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing. And my partner, our great city treasurer, Melissa Conyers-Irvin. I'm going to talk in a moment about something that we worked on together. She was a little modest, but I want to blow our collective horns a little bit because it does matter. As I've mentioned multiple times throughout the course of this crisis, our city's social and economic recovery is dependent on the social and economic recovery of all of our communities. This is especially true for communities on our south and west sides who have historically been disproportionately disinvested in and were disproportionately bore the brunt of the pandemic and the systemic inequities that existed long before COVID-19 came to our shores. With our city's safe reopening and gradual return to a sense of normalcy, we've been finally able to feel and touch the light at the end of a long, dark tunnel. But the task at hand is now to ensure that all of our residents will be able to join us when they are ready to step out of that tunnel for good. The Community Microequity Fund, supported by the PNC Foundation, $1.5 million grant, will be a tremendous tool as we work towards this goal. By providing Black and other underserved business owners and entrepreneurs from our south and west sides with access to capital, the lifeblood of any business, this fund will disrupt trends of socioeconomic inequity and give these individuals the opportunity they deserve to get their businesses off the ground and serve the communities they call home. We share as a city not only the values and the vision of this new fund, but we have and will continue to walk the walk. I want to highlight a couple things where I think there are synergies, and Melissa alluded to this. In the height of the pandemic, when so many businesses were under stress, we came together and thought about what we could do to make a difference. And ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say that we put together a $100 million fund for small businesses in our city. Done in partnership with the Treasurer's Office. We could not have gotten it off the ground without her great leadership and assistance in that effort. And today, it still remains the largest fund put together by a municipality across our country. It dwarfs what was done in New York and LA combined. We kept the doors open, lights on, and people employed at a time of tremendous need. We also gave a $5 million grant to micro businesses, those small businesses with 4 employees or less, because they too were hurting. And look, you know this. The federal government stood up a number of programs over the course of the pandemic, but it depended upon having a banking relationship. Many of our entrepreneurs are what we call unbanked. They may have a checking account, they may have some other kind of resources, but they don't have the long-standing relationship with a bank that would have set them up for success with the PPP. So we thought, together with the treasurer, how do we fill in those gaps? How do we make sure that the people who aren't going to be able to take care of the federal relief still are able to stand up and keep their doors open? So I'm proud to say that with emphasis on equity and inclusion, the lion's share of the resources that we put out over the course of the pandemic to help businesses of various sizes went on the South and the West Side. Overwhelmingly people of color and a lot of women entrepreneurs were helped. So we share the values that are at the heart of this fund. And I want to pick up on a comment that Joel made. Now, I met Joel, I think probably now close to 4 years ago. Someone brought me here and it said, you gotta talk to this guy and hear what he is doing. And one of the things that I took away from an incredible conversation about what Sunshine Ministries was doing to help entrepreneurs in this neighborhood was a need not only to get them access to capital, but to help them with technical assistance. That's the key as well, because for many small businesses, they have entrepreneurs, they have a great vision, they know where they want to go, but they need help along the way to get there. So it's not enough to just give access to capital. That helps. But that's technical assistance, which is a fancy way for saying we need a business plan. We need access to lawyers. We need to negotiate leases for bricks and mortar. Those kinds of things that maybe they think about, maybe they don't. We've got to make sure that there are resources for them. And I just got to tell you, this man has been doing the Lord's work in this community for so long. And Joel, I just got to say to you, your wife, your entire family, thank you so much for being here, for understanding the need of this community, and really delivering in profound ways. You have done tremendous work and really a great sacrifice. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of all the people whose lives that you've touched and made better is in part of this community and really across Chicago. Thank you. So that technical assistance was in my mind and in my head as I became mayor. And one of the things that I'm also proud of that we did is, you know about the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund. But what I heard over and over again from folks is, it's not really an opportunity because it was a matching grant. Again, if you're an entrepreneur just starting out and you don't have a banking relationship, you don't have access to a line of credit, having a matching grant that you can't access is like having nothing. So we changed the rules. We changed the rules to make them pure grants and added a layer of technical assistance on the front end to help people apply, on the back end to help make sure that the resources that they got, they were actually able to put to good use because they had that support. And really, Joel, I have to thank you and credit you for putting that idea in my head and helping me be more sensitive as I was a candidate and now mayor, and thinking about what do we need to do to make sure that our small businesses really have the help and support that they need. Now I'm going on, you never give a lawyer an open mic, But I'm gonna wind down my remarks by saying this. I want to pick up on a couple of things that Scott said at the outset. Let me find the note that I made. Access to capital, critically important. Technical assistance, which also I've talked about is necessary. But why are we doing what we're doing? Well, Scott told us. Passing on generational wealth. We have to make sure that people in communities like this one have the opportunity not only to help themselves, but to help their families, help their employees, and build up generational wealth that is really fundamentally lacking because of systemic racism and discrimination and a lack of investment. When we see the entire city, we see neighborhoods like this one and so many throughout the South Side and also on the West Side, we have to see it with an eye towards making sure that we do teach people to fish. And you do that by making sure that you build up generational wealth. So I just want to thank you all. I'm honored to be here today. Thank you all. Good luck to the entrepreneurs that have been helped. I wish you every success in your business. And remember that the city of Chicago, as long as I am mayor, will always be your partner. Thank you.
Left my lip gloss here. Thank you so much, Mayor Lightfoot and Treasurer Conyers Irving, for being here and for your unwavering support to Chicago businesses. We are so grateful to have you as leaders of this amazing city. Thank you to PNC Foundation for your money. And for your vision and your commitment to support racial and economic equity. It is our hope to grow this fund, this Community Micro Equity Fund, to over $20 million within the next 5 years. So we're gonna need your help to do that. We hope that this will be a tool to add to the toolbox of resources for Black and underserved businesses in all other areas. Thank you for being a pioneer in this venture. Thank you all for joining us today for this exciting announcement. Now let's go fund equity.